Review the Light. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Fenix TK32 multicolor output light. But really quick before we get started, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click this link that's right up here in the corner, and that way you can be sure to keep up to date with the latest reviews. So the Fenix TK32, as I mentioned, has multiple colors output. It has one main emitter. That's a white Cree XML2 emitter for the high output and the white output, and then it has three side emitters, and each one of these three emitters is a different color. One's red, one's green, and one's blue, and they're listed as 100 milliwatt emitters. So with colored emitters, we generally don't talk about lumens so much as watts, because lumens are so strongly dependent on the way that our eyes perceive the light. So for example, the 100 milliwatt emitters, the red light appears much dimmer than the blue, even though they're putting out the same power. Our eyes just don't pick up the red quite as strongly. So they're all 100 milliwatt lights according to the specifications. Before I get into it too much more, my review sample did not include the packaging that will come with commercial products, but it did include the accessories. So this is the holster that it comes with, and you can see it's a Velcro closure there. You just slip it in. Because of the large head of the light, it only goes in one direction, head up. And then also you can see it's got this little flap on the side here, which I believe is most useful as like an extra battery carrier. And then in the back, it's got this loop that you would pass your belt or other strap through. That's the holster. It also came with a little bag of containing the lanyard, and I believe that's all that's in this bag. Yeah, here we go. The extra O-ring also is in there. So the lanyard and extra O-ring are also accessories, along with a couple flyers and the warranty card and the instruction manual. So that's what's included, even though I don't have the retail packaging to show you today. Taking a look at the light, as I mentioned, we've got the three emitters, three colored emitters surrounding the main emitter. Obviously, this design is going to add a few fluctuations into the beam pattern, because it's not a completely smooth reflector, not completely parabolic. It's got those changes there where the colored emitters are. But you can see that it is a smooth reflector, and it's a pretty large head, so it's designed a little bit more for throw than for flood. It's a pretty decent throw for its class here. And each of the smaller emitters obviously isn't going to throw as well, because it's not really even close to the center. So the colors do have some funny beam patterns, but that's the price you pay for having the multiple emitters in there with different colors. So you see, you've got the Crenelated Bezel. Part of the purpose of that is so that when you have the light on its front there, you can see the light shining out of the edges, so you know it's on and you don't forget about it being on. We've got heat dissipation fins here, which help move heat. They increase the surface area, which helps move heat out of the flashlight and into the surrounding air. So that's pretty nifty for, pretty much essential actually for high output lights like this. I believe this gets up above 900 lumens. We've got the Fenix logo right there, along with the model name, the TK32. The body has a knurling, which is pretty grippy. Nothing else printed on it except for this hot surface warning and then the model name there. The tail also has some knurling, so you can untwist it. The switch on the TK32 is a little bit different than ordinary. You can see it's just got this one crenellation raised right here that you can pass a lanyard through, and then it's got two tail cap switches. So doing a tail stand is a little bit awkward. It doesn't really do a tail stand. But it has this two switch system. So as you're holding it, you've got it in this overhand grip like this, and your thumb is going to have access to both the main switch and then the mode switch right there. So the main switch is the one that turns it on and off, and the mode switch is the one that controls the output. So we'll get back to that in a second to take a closer look at how that works. The threads on my review sample are a little bit rough, so I'm actually going to feel like they have some grit in there. We're going to clean those out and add a little bit of grease to that, and that should take care of that. But they look to be good quality. They're square cut and pretty thick, so they should hold up a while. They're not anodized, which means even if your tail is a little bit loose, you're still going to be able to make electrical net connection, and the light will still turn on. So you can see here on the tail cap, there's a spring there that makes connection with the negative battery terminal. And then at the end, you may not be able to see it very well without much light, but there's another spring to make connection with the positive battery terminal. So that means it will accept flat top batteries like I've got here right now. And also the springs help to cushion it in the event of an impact, prevent the battery from receiving an impact if you drop the light. And it does take one 18650 lithium-ion battery, or else you can use CR12, CR123 lithium batteries. So when we turn it on, we'll see how it looks. So here I'm just going to press the on button here, and you can see it is a forward click mechanical switch. So if I hold down the switch about halfway, it comes on and momentary on, and then just as soon as I release it, turns off, or I can click it into position and it will stay on until I click it again. So when it's on, I have the option to change the mode using the mode switch here. So that's what I'll be doing now. So just clicking that switch rotates you through the different brightness levels. So it's got a low, medium, high, and turbo. And you just rotate through that with each click. And then to access the colored modes, you hold down on this mode switch for about a second, and it comes on in green, blue, and red, and just clicking the switch rotates through the three of those. So as you can see, here, let me turn off one of my lights here so you can see the colored beams a little bit better. I'll go ahead and hit the other one also. There we go. So you can tell that the beam is a pretty eccentric beam pattern, just because it's not even, it's just on the side of the parabola there. So it does get thrown a little bit by the reflector, but it's just pretty funky. So if you're looking for a really smooth colored light, then you'll have to look elsewhere. But if you just want the colored light along with a good smooth main output, then it's a good choice. So here's the green and the blue. So as I said, clicking rotates through those three modes, and each of, if I can get my camera to adjust to the brightness here, each emitter lights up in just the one color. So these aren't multicolor emitters. So as you see, I'm rotating through the red, the green, and the blue, and each one does the one color. So I'll turn the lights back on here. Now, when you have the light, when you turn the light off, it goes back to the last white brightness mode that you used. So it has mode memory, but the colored light is not included. So say if I leave it on, for example, the turbo setting here, if I turn it off, turn it back on, it goes to turbo. Now if I leave it on, let's say I leave it on green, then when I turn it off and turn it back on, it goes back to turbo. Or I can switch it to, say, the low mode, and turn it back on, it comes back on in low. So it's got mode memory for only the white main emitter. The colored modes are not memorized. This is, as I said, the Fenix TK32, and stick around for a second and we will take it outside and see how it does at night. Hello and welcome back to Review the Light. We've got the Fenix TK32 here outside. We're going to give it a shot in the dark. So we'll just start right off. Turn it on here. I believe that I'm in turbo mode. So here's a bit of a look at the beam pattern, if you can see that in the dust. Okay, so just a quick look. You can see it's mainly kind of a throw focused light, as I mentioned before. The large reflector, wide diameter and deep, makes it pretty good at throwing. So you'll see the tight hot spot here in the middle, and then it does have some floodlight, but it's fairly dim. The flood is pretty even, which is nice. It's good to have a little bit of flood always, so you can see things close to you. Not develop tunnel vision, but you can see that I've got a pretty well focused spot here. We'll cycle through the modes, pointing at this tree so you can get an idea of it. So we've got low, which Here you can see up closer, but not so far away. Medium, high, and turbo. And then I'll go back to that tree so you can see the other modes on it. Low, medium, there you can see the tree now, high, and turbo. So just looking around, as like I said, give you an idea of that spot. And we'll shoot some things a little further away there. If you can see this on your screen, I'm not sure what your screen brightness is like, but you might be able to tell. That's pretty far away over there. Yeah, so that's the beam pattern. Now we will switch to the colored modes. So right now we're in green, blue, and red. Obviously these don't throw as well. They're not centered. They're not as bright. So the colored modes are definitely more for up-close use, or possibly for signaling or something like that if you've got it that need. But I'll point it at the ground here, so you have something a little easier to see the beam at. But there's the red and the green and the blue. I'll put it pretty close so you can see it. Yeah. But yeah, so obviously not an excellent beam pattern. Here my dog's checking it out. He's interested in the colors. But blue, red, and green there. And like I said, not the most beautiful beam pattern in the world, but by the time you are going to sit like this outdoors using it, and it's not unusable. So those are the color options that you have there. And I'll give you one more look at those at the head here. If my light will adjust to the brightness of it. Green, blue, and red. There, just kind of fun options. This has been the Fenix TK32 with its main wide emitter and its multicolor emitters. Again, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you're clicking that link right up here, and keep up to date with the latest reviews. So thanks, have a good night.